Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Found it all? Will she be so happy? I got 40 new Lumina. Any more? Just 40. Okay. There's a gift for your travels. Thank you very much. Guess I won't be meeting this Moshi guy though, but... Yo! 40 Lumina is really good. I got the mushrooms you wanted. Can I still not help you? Yeah, the man with the metal arm is gone. I don't know if he'll be back by the end of the game, but if we bring Gustav back, can I come and help you out then? Like, I just want to give you some shrooms, kid. I have the mushrooms. Just take them. You don't need Gustav to give it to you. Hey. Oh well. I really want to complete whatever that side quest is. Oh wait. What's this one? A journal? Dude. What happened to you? How did you die in a gestural village? Did you fight?
Teo, 52nd Expedition. Man, I could barely think straight. Hulking gestural broke my skull. What the fuck kind of friendly fight was that?
Broke your skull?
I'm bleeding out, but their medic is bloody useless. She just keeps telling me about his bone problems. But I'm gonna die here, aren't I?
Oh my god, poor dude. Yo. These gestrals ain't messing around. Hey, would you look at that? I got most of the journals. I got one left. I still have to get back to Lumiere, so maybe I'll find it there. And Simon, well, I tried going up against Simon, that ended badly, so I'll probably get that post-game. But, yo, just one journal left. I really hope I didn't miss it somewhere else, and I hope it's in Lumiere. I really want to complete that collection. Hello everyone, welcome back to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. The moment is finally here. We're heading to Lumiere. So I spent quite a lot of time already changing out all my Pictos, and I got the best builds and best weapons on every single character, and I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be right now. So yeah, in the meantime I also went and fought a few more Patangs that I missed, a few more chromatic Nevrons and things like that. Finished collecting all the journals that I needed. All the side quest locations are done as well. So yeah, this is it. We're gonna go fight Renoir. We're gonna find out whether we can bring everyone back, or we're gonna destroy the canvas and everyone inside it, or if there's some other twist ending that the game is gonna throw at us and hurt our feelings and make me cry again. So you can expect this to be another pretty emotional episode, I guess. That's what I'm expecting, at least. So yeah, so let's see what the game has in store for us.
Wait for us here. It's dangerous for you near Papa. We'll have to move fast. I can't maintain them for very long.
Whoa!
tomorrow comes.
Hell yeah! Yo, that's so cool! Having the past expeditions fight for us? Oh, whoa. Hi there. Thank you very much. That was cool. Yo, okay, there's just a wall going on around us. Let's hurry along, guys. Oh, there's our flag. I can't rest, it seems. There's no prompt. Should I still be exploring? Yeah. So wait, if I can...
Useful?
If I can still collect Lumina, why am I not able to rest? Where would I activate these? Okay, yo, look at the colors. There's an actual wall going on around us. Okay, nothing else. Let's go up.
These expeditioners are glorious wreakers of havoc.
A sword of Lumiere.
Pain break.
Good stuff.
Still collecting chroma. Anything on the other side? Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, the box is just floating there. Yo, the music really adds to the suspense. Hey, I don't want to be taking any collateral damage here. Watch the fight, guys.
Good stuff.
Okay, you attack. Yo, took him out in one hit. Yep, I'm definitely ready for this section, I think. A lot of Lumina lying around, that's good.
Oh, wow.
Game's really giving me a chance to power myself up before the showdown with Renoir. Hold that thought, dude, I'll be right with you.
Interesting.
Oh, wow, look at that. So much fighting. Oh, hey. Just sneak up on me. Look at the colors.
Dance.
Yo.
The eternity of ice. A storm is coming. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just gonna power through this area, guys. Chroma catalysts. Okay, I hope I find a flag soon. I'm gonna need to use these. Oh. Dead end. I wanna watch them. They're actually doing a turn-based fight as well. How cool is that? They're not just like brawling. Yeah, I just need Lune. I don't need anyone else. I don't want to get cocky and overconfident, but like, I'm feeling so good right now. Let me explore this entire section, make sure I don't miss anything.
An advantage.
Can I still interact with the trash can? Apparently not. Okay, I'm gonna come around the other side because I don't want to fight them yet. Just making sure I don't miss anything between these shops. Come around the back. Yo, Lumiere feels so weird when so empty, but I guess it's good that the entire city got gomashed because then they don't have to sit through this fight. Okay, can't punch those boxes. There's something up here.
Lovely.
Now I'm gonna come back to the middle. Anything back here? Whoa, wait. Can I punch this? No, I can't. Okay, come through the middle and go straight at them. Yeah, nothing else to collect here, so hi guys! Where's Renoir? Can you please fight under the Eiffel Tower? We haven't seen the Eiffel Tower up close.
Keep going. Let the ink flow. Feeling better.
Okay, one to go. Okay, a rope here. Yo, the music's really hyping me up, man. I'm so excited. And it just changed. Interesting. We could jump across there. We could go this way. Ah, interesting that the paths are splitting here. Which way do I go to? Look at that! They're flying around. So which way is forward? Where is Renoir hanging out? Because again, there are no lights or anything to guide me, so... Let's go check out what's over here. Look at all the lightning. Oh, there's a creature just powering through there. And he shot down. Okay, you go play over there, alright? I'm gonna come over here. Yo, this is the spot where Gustav and Maelle were before Gustav went and gave the rose to Sophie. We're kind of retracing our steps now. And once again, I don't think there are any hidden items over here. I don't hear anything either. See if there's any more collectibles over here. Oh, look, it feels so weird coming back to where it all started. Oh wow, like look at all the posters and stuff. Like we were here. This is where it all began. Look, a Pictos, 2 AP and applying powerful. Hi. Move along. Nothing to see here. Bye. Yo. Oh, look at all that destruction. It's so scary. We started here. Why is there a light here? Interesting. Why is there like a light shining on this spot? Anyway, moving on. Maelle, how are you holding up? Yo, it's so cool that we could come back to the spot where everything began. And we didn't just go on to like different locations in the game or something like that. Okay, now we can go forward with the rest of the game. So the other way was definitely forward. Yeah, this is the way we went, like to meet Sophie. A flag here. Can upgrade my stuff. Still don't have enough of the right catalysts. Yo! What's going on down there? I can't go up there, it's only down. This isn't where we met Sophie, that was further up, I think.
No. The 32s.
What happened to them? Oh wait, we are 33. 32s was supposed to be the next expedition, the ones we left behind. What happened to them? Why are they painted over? I thought, didn't they go march with the rest of them? How did they get painted over?
Let's keep going. Okay.
Did Renoir do something to them? Tesso, new weapon. Verso.
Nice.
There's more of them over there. Which way is forward though? Let's go clockwise. SK statue. Look! The sculptor, she actually put Sophie's name under the statue. I mean, that's not Sophie, that's SK, but like, I thought it was gonna be like a small name on the side or something like that. She actually put Sophie's name on the statue. That's sweet. That's such a cool detail. Okay, so you guys are fighting amongst yourselves. Any loot over here? No. Okay, more 32s over there, and I see some loot there. Oh, they clocked me. Don't come after me yet. Okay, this is the main section. They're coming after me. Hold on, guys. Let me just check if I'm done. Okay, yeah, you come after me. I'm gonna collect this first, and then
Advantage.
I turn and fight you.
A storm is coming.
Lune has really high attack damage right now, so she's just powering through all of these sections, man. Okay, so this is the way forward. You know, it's so weird to see expeditioners working alongside everyone here.
A storm is coming. Keep going.
Cool.
Interesting.
The music is actually making me like
Father,
keep the pace.
he's at the tower.
Yes.
Maelle.
At the Eiffel Tower? We're going to the Eiffel Tower? Cool. Okay, so this is where we met Sophie. There's still you guys around here? Isn't it beautiful here? No, there's a war raging. Her paintings are always astonishing. Yet I wish she would understand. Understand what? Just what it means for me to paint. What do you mean? The boy has gone silent. Yeah, because Verso was not really a painter, he was a musician, but yet he created this wonderful canvas. So what does it mean for him to paint? Why does he paint? For Renoir, in his journals, he was always talking about controlling chaos, right? That was the reason he painted. Not for the end product, but because it was like the process that he enjoyed. It was calming for him or something like that. But what about the others? I think Aline was the same as well.
Interesting.
5% gradient charge on hitting a stunned enemy. Cool. What's Verso's reason for painting? Does he do it for the end result then? Just for the sake of creation? Or is there something else? I'm gonna just keep upgrading as I go. I need a perfect catalyst. Where can I find those? Whoa. It exploded. He came from the right and went to the left. Which way am I supposed to go? Just gonna take a peek. Okay. And what's over here? Guys?
Good stuff.
I'm gonna do what I always do and go clockwise. Let's hope that's a circle. Yeah, I think it is. I think it just comes back to the same spot. Phew!
Nobody dies.
And boom!
Got work to do.
There we go. Okay, more Lumina.
Nice.
So that was the other area. Okay, just making sure there's no loot there. What about here? No. Okay, straight ahead then. Whoa! Not gonna get hit by anything, right? That guy's got issues. Hi. Can I have that Lumina, please?
Okay. Good.
And one more. There we go. The coach. Oops. Give me that.
Ow, wow.
Ah, wow, wow, indeed. Something up here. Yeah, this is a section we haven't been
Good
to
stuff.
before. Where is the tower? There it is. The Leaning Tower of Eiffel. Hi, you're a big one. Oh, look at the skull. Oh, you have a creepy head. You're a chromatic
storm
one.
is coming.
What was your weakness, man? I can't remember
Let
if
the
I ever
ink
found
flow.
your weakness.
Let's keep going.
Not enough AP. Okay, your health isn't that high. So, we can get through this.
Let us slay
We can get through this pretty quickly, I think. Mayhem.
Prepare.
Awesome. Augmented counter 3. 75% increased counter attack damage. Oh, I need to put that on, but that's... If it's level 3, it probably costs a lot of Lumina. Which I'm getting a lot of here, so... Probably gonna put that on Looney.
Useful.
All of this Lumina that I'm getting in this section is gonna help me activate the pictures that I'm getting right now. It's gonna help me activate the new pictures that I'm getting right now. I wanna look around. Like, the pacing for this section has me wanting to keep the momentum going, but also I wanna slow down and look at everything. I wanna see the work they put into this. Like, look at that. Look at the scene building. Like, I wanna take it all in. Okay. More Lumina.
The Opera House.
Are we gonna do the final battle in there?
Good stuff.
What's this little bridge? What? What am I interacting with? Lumiere has suffered much damage. There's something in the water. That looks like a journal. Ask SK to bring it to the surface, yes. Yo, it is a journal of Expedition 60. A legendary expedition known for its unorthodox tactics.
William, Expedition 60. They mocked us when we said the human body is the strongest of them all. We trained relentlessly, and now our bodies have achieved the pinnacle of human performance, with which we are able to crush our enemies. We are so much more agile and aerodynamic without the heavy uniforms constraining our glorious muscles. With Leslie's unstoppable training regime, we are impervious. That's how we were able to charge through that ghostly Gamage barrier and reach the Paintress. But it seems we've been wrong about what she is. The Paintress is just as trapped as we. The real terror lies beneath the monolith. The rest of Expedition 60 marched on to confront him, while I was tasked to warn Lumiere. But it seems I might have run out of time. One last swim separates me from Lumiere, but even with my mighty muscles, I don't know if I can outswim the Gamage. So here I write my final message. Bare naked muscles will save the world. And don't waste time on the Paintress. Aim for the bottom of the monolith.
Yo! 60 were next level, man. Did they actually do the whole expedition naked? Like, they must not have stopped in any of the other locations then. They would have headed straight for the monolith. And they found out the truth too. Like, how sad is that? This is 60. That was like, what? 27 expeditions ago? If only this guy had made it back soon, or like this journal just washed up now, right? If it had washed up much sooner, they would have known a lot more this whole time. They would have known that Renoir is behind the whole thing. Oh my god. Yo, this would make a really cool DLC, man. What if we could play as like 60 and just power through, and that'd be cool. Like, I can already picture quite a few DLCs working for this game. Like, Zero is one of them, maybe from Julie's perspective. And then these guys, and maybe some of the other expeditions too, like maybe the mountaineering ones or the scouts, the ones who install the handholds and the great grapple points. Yeah, a lot of cool options. What is that? I could go up. Let's go up first. Can I? Oh no, I can't go up. What about the other side? Maybe? A collectible or something? Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
One Lumina. It got really quiet all of a sudden. There's a flag there. Oh, the music is so nice. That's Verso. This is him performing at the opera. But this is so nice. I kind of just want to sit here and enjoy that more, but then this video is gonna go on forever, so... Piano over here too. Could I join you? Can I interact with you?
What have we here?
Lumiere! Music record. Go back there. Let's press at the flag first. Okay, got a lot of Lumina. Now where's the new stuff that I got? These aren't very high-powered ones. I need to master these first. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put all three of these on Monoko, I think. And then I can just switch them back out later. Okay. Now let's hope I have at least 4 more fights so I can master these. Yeah, I think we will. There's still a ways off to go. You know, they kind of look pretty and peaceful until you start fighting them. Okay, I didn't miss anything over there. Only forward, I guess.
Nevrons from the Axon Islands. What are they doing here?
Like Axons, they're Papa's creations, not Claire's.
Let us stain them. The eternity of ice. Okay. Chroma is flowing. Let's keep going.
Oh, look at that glowing spot over there. We're getting closer to the tower. Okay, we have a flying one here.
Keep going. Chroma is flowing. Okay.
Okay, they took the damage anyway, so... Nice.
Great.
New pictures. Recover 5 health on hitting a stun target. I'm just making sure I didn't miss a path down here, because I think that's the way forward. Let me just check this side. It's possible that it comes around in a circle anyway, but...
Let us stay then.
Yo, Lumiere is actually really huge.
Oh,
Pictures already owned. Converted to chroma. Interesting.
Almost there.
Maelle.
Let's go.
So it does come in a circle, I think. I can go across here. Let's see what's over here. There's the lost boy again.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. There must be at least one more flag before we meet Renoir, I think. Maybe I should continue. Maybe. I should continue. Continue what? Forever. The boy has gone silent. Continue what? Also, I'm thinking, the reason they wanted to keep the canvas alive, and like, I mean, Renoir was saying like they have to destroy the canvas, is because a part of his soul still remains within the canvas. What if it's this boy? What if he's the one that's remaining in the canvas? And by destroying the canvas, we're trying to get rid of this boy.
Well, that will
That
help.
means that there's a part of Aline and Renoir that's left behind as well, right? Because we also see the fading man and woman. By contributing to the creations in this canvas, they've left parts of themselves or parts of their soul in here as well. And that's sad if like they end up destroying that too. Of course there's a merchant in here. Is there gonna be a mime in here as well?
Nice.
I mean, I haven't been collecting all this chroma for not, right? What do we got for me, dude? I'll be right with you. Apparently I can keep going this way. This place looks calmer.
Papa is somewhere past the gardens.
Oh. Nuh-uh. Okay.
Sekira dobo nina. Kira dombo.
This place is sad. Uh-huh. I'll say that again, buddy. I can fight you too, of course. Let's do that. That's all it took, huh?
Naru pokira vemiro.
Thanks for the distraction. So what's the real good you have? Full strength. 25% increased damage on full health. Ooh, good one. I need perfect catalyst. Why don't any of you guys sell that?
Come.
This spot suddenly feels a bit calm. Like calm before the storm, I guess. This is a whole new section we haven't been to before. And there's the tower. Oh, this must be... Oh, like in real world France? This must be the gardens in front of the Eiffel Tower. We just switched to Gustav's team all of a sudden. What's that about? Why am I getting Gustav's team? What are you doing to me, game? Pick upgrades. I think this is gonna be the last one, guys. But when I counted 3, it's just 7. Alright, I've used up all the Lumina that I just got, and I have switched back to all the pictures that I wanted after mastering the ones that I just got. So let's explore a bit more. Oh, there's still some Lumina here. I think I can still do a few more upgrades.
An advantage.
And there's a recoat. So there's still room for me to make a few more upgrades, I think, before meeting Renoir. Probably, I'm hoping the game will prompt me, like, saying something like, this is your last chance to upgrade or whatever. So I came that way, right? No, I came this way. That's the flag. Okay, so this is the way forward. Well, look at that. Oh.
I can't sustain the expedition as much longer.
Don't worry, Maelle.
Yes.
We're almost done.
We need to defeat them fast.
Just hold on a bit longer, okay? Anything in the gardens? Oh, I had to fight them? Hi! They just appeared. So I am supposed to explore the gardens then. I'll try to stay in the path so I don't get lost.
Feeling better. Let's keep going.
The music suddenly stopped. Just checking all the paths for any more loot. There we go. So I think I can go back still to the flag and also the merchant, just for any like last minute upgrades and stuff. Yo, hey. Nice of you to drop in. Why'd the music stop?
Let's keep going.
Can I have the music back, please? This is eerie now.
Meet your
Wow.
Increased damage with gradient attacks. Is this meant to be quiet here, or... Hey, I was enjoying Gustav's theme. Please bring it back on. Any more steps? Yo! Oh! Hi! You scared me. No, it's so quiet.
better. Feeling better.
I really don't like how quiet it is. It feels too weird.
Nice.
Also, I'm not going to switch out any Pictos for now. I'm not going to switch out any Pictos anymore because the ones that I'm getting now, even though they're good, I don't know if there'll be enough fights for me to master them, and I don't want to like rest and keep fighting just to get them on. Besides, with the Lumina that I have, I want to put on the Pictos that I already have mastered.
Let the ink flow. Good. Let us stain them. Interesting.
Okay, so the tower's over there. There's a creation there. Almost missed this one.
Great.
Your father's been extra inspired.
A most enticing challenge.
Physics back. But it's this one.
Let us stain them. Keep going. Let the ink flow. Prepare.
Can break it. Oh no, just took him out straight. Bye-bye! Oh wait, new pick task. Faster than strong. Always play twice in a row, but deal 50% less damage. No thanks. I've got other pick tasks for that. Stuff on the left and on the right, or straight ahead to the tower. Of course I'm gonna explore. Okay, another flag. So there are still opportunities for me to upgrade. Good to know. Yeah, I'm just anxious because like we keep getting closer and closer and closer, but I don't know when the end will finally come and if I'll ever get a chance to like...
Papa's over there. And the chroma we need to bring back Lumiere.
Even I can sense him.
We'd better make sure we're ready.
Okay, that's what I need. So that's the prompt that I need to let me know that, you know, I can still keep fighting, I can still like do upgrades and stuff. So I think there isn't going to be much Lumina left for me to upgrade. So I'm not going to master the skills that I just got, but I'm going to come back to this flag. Let me finish exploring the other sides and then do some upgrades here. I want to quickly go around the gardens just to make sure I didn't miss any more Lumina, because some of them were pretty well hidden. Like, there could be something in the middle of this. Just gonna do one quick sweep, guys. Be right back. Okay, I'm done with my sweep. Found 3 more Lumina, so this is it. This is the last chance we have. So let me do some quick upgrades here. Glad Gustav's music came back. Alright. Here goes nothing, guys. Eiffel Tower, ready as I'll ever be. Let's go fight Renoir. Music's just faded out. Saved. There he is. Oh my god. He looks so small. Quite the battle arena. Ooh, I'm nervous. Here goes nothing.
Papa?
Alicia.
Please. I just want you to understand what this canvas means to me.
I do understand. I know how powerful and intoxicating it is. How deeply attached we can become to the worlds we pour our hearts and souls into. I was enthralled, and it nearly killed me.
It doesn't mean you have to erase Verso's canvas.
Child, do you think I want to? After all the sorrows we've endured, do you really think that I want to destroy this last piece of his soul?
Then don't. Don't.
Life keeps forcing cruel choices. We do what we must.
Grief often blinds us, and we make choices we can never take back.
You grieve for two.
I grieve for many.
The choices of parents leave indelible marks upon their children. But ultimately, the voices in their head have to be their own. You cannot set the boundaries of their life for them.
After the fire, you wanted me to find new joy in life. And I tried. But I couldn't. I couldn't. Verso died because of me. How do I get from that to joy?
Child, it will get better, I promise you. But this is not the way. Your friends speak truth. And it changes nothing. You can hate me. But that's a choice I must make. As your father, I must look out for you. Especially when you can't look out for yourself.
You treat me as if I'm still 5!
I treat you as if the shadow from the worst day of our lives is going to suffocate you and take you from us too! Enough. I said enough.
He needs to be in his curator form for us to fight him.
The eternity of ice. Feeling better. Okay.
close to killing him.
Ready to evade.
Sirene rescues Renoir. She healed him.
Stop this insanity. It's time to go home.
Is there another stage?
I do love a challenge, but this is beginning to irk me.
Fuck. He keeps regenerating.
Maybe we focus on the axons first.
Yeah, let's do that. Clair?
Mama.
Aline.
Aline, you're going to kill yourself. It's too soon for you to return to the canvas.
She found the canvas. Oh, wow. She's fighting her own Exxon. And now we fight Renoir. Don't run from this, Verso. Don't have second thoughts now.
Void takes everything.
The Sandra canvas.
You're selfish, Aline!
Where'd it go?
Feeling better.
What was the point of that?
Prepare. Okay.
Aside, the canvas is killing you both.
Not this time!
Yo! Yo, that's cool! Good go, girl! That was cool!
Ironic. Your mother was the one who saved me when I lost myself in a canvas. She taught me how to safely use our gift. How to soar without flying too close to the sun. We painted hundreds of canvas worlds, pushing the very boundaries of creation. And she never let me forget that every day we spent here has a price. Yet, here we are now.
So trust her. If she's doing this, then...
I trust what she taught me. This is not a game. You think you know what's at stake, but you don't.
I know precisely what's at stake. You want control. You want to feel like you're doing something. You couldn't save Verso, so you want to save us. Except you're not. Destroying the canvas won't help us move on. It'll just deny us the one place that helped us feel again.
67 years. 67 years I spent trapped within the monolith. But I persisted. Do you know why? Do you know why I cannot leave her or you behind? This is what I see every day. I cannot spend another day with living corpses. Since the fire, our family has crumbled. Aline in the canvas. Clair fighting a solitary war. You, a living ghost. Verso's death broke us. Wanted to be fixed. I needed to be fixed. I cannot lose you too.
Don't you see? That's how I feel about them. I can't lose them either. I've lost too much. Papa, see? I've lost so much.
We both lost so much.
Papa, I don't want to lose you either. I'm not leaving you forever. Just a little longer.
I want to trust you, but
you can.
keep the light on for you. I hope you find peace. Hold on to each other.
I'm sorry.
No! What did you do? I reached the end. I just unlocked an achievement. I reached the end. Why am I playing as Verso? Where are the others? Where am I? What's this? Oh, it's Verso's soul.
Hi. You're tired of painting, aren't you? I'm tired too.
Verso.
That's... You shouldn't be able to be here.
Lamont's gift.
Why did you run in? It's dangerous for you here.
See things as they are. Not how you want them to be.
What?
You lied to your father.
No.
He saw it too. But he wanted to believe. You're going to die here. Why don't you just leave? You can always come back.
The moment I leave, Papa will erase this canvas.
This is not worth your life.
What life? My life of loneliness in a shell of a body, with no voice and no future.
You're Maelle. No matter where you are, you don't need this canvas.
But everything I want is here. Here I have a chance to live, Verso, to live. Out there I merely exist.
Life keeps forcing cruel choices.
Stop quoting Papa!
It's time to stop painting.
Verso! Papa also said, hold on to each other.
Old friend, you've traveled miles, spinning in circles. Your blind eyes on the dial, stripping
I'm sorry.
out colors.
No.
It's time to say
Oh no.
goodbye until
Guys, don't.
life.
What? No! No! Don't make me choose! No! I get to choose the ending? Oh shit, no! Shit. Look, the whole time leading up to this, I really wanted to bring everyone back because I thought everyone deserved to live, but when they showed Aline like that, and if Maelle is gonna die if she stays here, wow, this is really a tough choice. Oh god, what do I do? In real circumstances, of course, the lives of real people is more important, but these people in the canvas are living, breathing, thinking humans too. They deserve to live as well. If Maelle is right, and they're gonna erase the canvas, then all of them are gonna die. But if we let Maelle stay here, then she'll die. Shit. I know it's just a game and I can watch both outcomes later, but I want to choose the best outcome for now. Like, God, this is such a tough choice. I'm gonna stick with my gut feeling. I need all these people in the canvas to live. I need to side with Maelle on this because I want all these people to come back and to live in this canvas. Look, Renoir has to just find some other way to bring Maelle back, but she's right. She's living a shell of a life out there. I mean, this is suicide, but oh, there's so much to think about. I mean, once the war in the real world is over, she could always bounce back too. There's always that option. But then, it's not healthy for her to hold on to Verso and these creations either. But oh, I really want to bring everyone back. I really want to keep this canvas alive. I'm gonna go with Maelle. Let's fight as Maelle. SK and Monoko and the others. No, I'm staying. Our drafts collide. Did I seriously get a 3 million damage on him? Wow. That lasted 12 seconds. Holy shit.
Please. Thank you. Stop him from painting.
Don't say that. Please, don't say that.
Verso, please. No.
Please, listen to me. Only you can do this. You can do this, please. Unpaint me. Unpaint me. Please. I don't want this life.
Stop saying
I
that.
don't want this life. I don't want this life.
I just wanted to live this lifetime together. This lifetime that was stolen from us. Please. Bro. Please.
I don't want this life. Help me. Help me.
If you could grow old, would you find a reason to smile?
Can we do it? Can we bring them all back? Oh. Oh, Pierre.
Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Clair obscur, trouble de rature, courbera Eiffel. Clair obscur, guardé aux peintures, trouvera sans elle. Oh, clair obscur,
Gustav! Gustav and Sophie! They're all back! They look older though. Oh, Maelle. It's time to go. You can't stay. Verso? How is he still here? Did she remove his immortality? Or did she repaint him? Something's not right. This feels off. How much time has passed? Oh, Maelle, you never left. Why? Why didn't you leave? Yo! Yo, what the heck? Yo, what the heck, man? Damn. God. Oh, way to make me feel bad about my choices. God. This is such an amazing game, man. Oh, Maelle. You should have left. Should have brought them all back and should have left. They're all older because time has passed. She let them all live, but... Oh, God. Oh, Maelle, what have you done to yourself? There's no... There couldn't be a good outcome. There's no positive outcome out of this. If I'd gone with Verso, all of these characters would have died. They would have... This entire world would have gamaged. But if I stayed, then we lose Maelle. Like... And how are the others fine with that? Why haven't they asked her to leave yet or something? Oh, wow. God, what an ending. Oh, my goodness. Look, if it were me, there would be more than 2 endings there. I wouldn't just choose between one or the other. There are other solutions to this problem then. Oh, Maelle. Oh, you poor girl. God. The things grief do to us, huh? Jennifer English, man. Guys, the cast. They're all so damn good. Charlie. That must be the French voice actors too. Oh my god, hats off to all of you guys, honestly. Y'all have done such a stellar job. Like this studio did not phone it in with the voice acting and with the mocap and the game design and the gameplay and like the story, the dialogues, everything is so good. The music, I mean, I've spoken so much about the music and so many aspects already throughout the game, but like I don't have any complaints. Like all the minor stuff that I had trouble with or like things like that were, well, either skill issues or like, you know, it's been resolved in patch updates and things like that, but there's been no major issue and everything is so good. Oh my god, honestly, hats off to the entire team. It's so good. There we go, Expedition 33, we're done. We're at the end. Oh, I'm in denial now. Holy shit, man. God, what a great story. Like, I love stories like this, right? Like character studies, and this entire game is about grief and how all these different characters are responding to that. And the beauty of it is it's not just the living characters, right? It's not just the DeSandra family who's dealing with grief and loss and all of that, but the outcome of taking out their grief on Verso's canvas is that all the beings, all the humans, all the living creatures within the canvas are also going through grief, right? Because they're also losing people through the gamage and through accidents and through, you know, death during the expeditions, and the Gestrals even, they're losing people too. SKA, even he grieved Noko. Monoko was grieving Noko, and all the other Gestrals and expeditioners who are dying. Like, There's just so much grief in this entire game. And like, it just keeps you... Oh. I have no words. It's just so good, man. Oh. Look, I have so much good stuff to say, right? I don't know if I'll even remember to mention everything, but like this, look, I think I'll start with I'll start with stuff that maybe could be improved, right? With like, let's say they do like a remastered version or something years down the line or something. But like this game is so close to perfection. There are a few things that I was like, you know, I had minor complaints and stuff, but those are all forgettable stuff at the end of the day because of how good the game is and how good every single element of the game is, right? And like I was talking about, you know, a lot of people are talking about mini maps for each of the locations, and like I had a suggestion for that about having markers to mark the places that you've already visited, right? So the only concern that I had was that because I'm recording this to post online, I don't want you guys to keep seeing me get lost in all these sections and wasting time trying to find the right way back onto the main path. But if I was playing this game off screen in my own time without any time restraints or anything like that, I would love that. I love being able to explore every nook and cranny and every single area of the location, even if I get lost, having to find my way back and explore and stuff like that. And I wonder now, with how much I've already traveled the world, if I play it again on New Game Plus, am I going to have a better experience of it? Am I going to be able to find my way around much better? Or is that going to still be a struggle for me? So I'm curious to see that part. Maybe, who knows, like maybe in a remastered version or something, years down the line, they could consider adding that, or maybe in like future DLCs if they happen to do it, or even, who knows, I mean, I don't think this game deserves a sequel, but if they ever do a sequel or like another game in the universe of Clair Obscur, right, maybe in another canvas or something, then they could definitely add on these things, right? Oh, production dogs! Monoko and Freya, that's the dog that inspired Monoko. And like even with the lamp directions and stuff, so the lamps were really good. Wherever they were present, they were really good at guiding us to the next locations. But it would also help if like the lamps were all on one side of the path. So like if the lamp is on the left, you're going forward. If it's on the right, you're going back. You know, if you go off on a side path or something, and when you come back to the main path, you don't forget like whether you're supposed to go left or right to go forward and backward and things like that. Oh, thank you. Oh no, thank you guys so much for this game. Honestly, oh god. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep. Okay, one more thing that we couldn't do was like you can't flee from boss battles, but then you can always like just load the previous saves and stuff. That's the other option, right? But like having an option to flee boss battles would have been great. And you know, minor other things like getting stuck in places and objects and like lagging and stuff, all of this, they're doing patch updates and stuff, which I know, so I have no complaints. I'm just gonna quickly summarize my review here with like whatever I can remember to say. I know I'm gonna forget so much because I have so many nice things to say. First of all, a bit about how I found this game, right? So I'm a Charlie Cox fan, and the first time I heard about this game was actually he mentioned this in a Comic-Con panel that he did in Scotland, right? And this was still like early 2024 or something, and like the cast trailer hadn't come out yet. They hadn't announced who the voice actors were yet. So he sort of like implied that he was doing a French game that he couldn't really talk about yet, but he was excited for it to come out and to try playing, even though he wasn't a gamer himself, right? So this had me intrigued. I wanted to know what his first voice acting gig was going to be. And I love video games too, right? Because at the end of the day, for me, these are all different mediums of storytelling, and I love a good story. And I think different mediums can be better for certain types of stories, and this story definitely is so perfect for a video game format. So when I looked up the game and I saw the trailers, I was hooked. I was hooked from the first trailer that I saw because of how well the trailers were edited and the music. I don't play many games. I don't consider myself a gamer per se because video games can be expensive and time consuming, and quite honestly, like as much as I wanted to, I've never been able to commit to too many games, right? But with this game, the moment I saw the trailers, I knew like this was something I might be into, even though I've never really played many RPG games. I've never played a turn-based game. I was watching the trailers, looking at the fight style, and was thinking, hey, I would love to watch the gameplays and the let's plays that come out on YouTube once the game is out, right? Because that's what I usually do for games that I can't afford to buy, or games that are not out on PC yet. So that was the plan. And then I saw one of the trailers. I think it was the Cuss release trailer, right? At the very end, you hear Maelle's voice, and she says, God, I can't even bring myself to say it, but she said, see you in the next life, right? And that did it for me. So something about that line, like with all the trailers that I was watching, I was so into the game, but that line, there was something in it. It struck a chord in me, honestly, and that was the line that made me decide that no, I have to play this game. I have to experience this for myself, right? So of all this time of me watching other gamers and streamers playing games online, this was the perfect opportunity for me to start experiencing the game for myself for the first time and putting my experience online as well, right? And honestly, thank you so much to the game makers, and thank you for being that game. I could not have asked for a better game to be my first content or first let's play on YouTube, man. Like, this is up there. This is honestly saying, like, with all the games that I've played and I've watched and stuff like that, this is my number one, hands down. Like, this has made it to the top of my list. This is my favorite game all time, and if this doesn't win Game of the Year, like, the awards aren't fair, man. I don't know about the other contenders for this year. I do want to play a few more of the games that are coming out this year. I've seen some trailers that look so good, but like, if this game doesn't get a nomination and doesn't win as many awards as it can, and even if this doesn't win Game of the Year, right? I don't know. I really want to see. It blows my mind that someone can come up with a game as good as this one and write a story as good as this one, right? And if something else can beat this, I want to play that. I want to see what story can beat this. Because this is my number one. This is the best game I've ever played, hands down. And already now, with like the game over, and I definitely have to take some time to process this and stuff, but like, I can't wait to dive back in. I want to dive back in. I still have some side quest stuff to do. I want to play New Game Plus. I want to explore more of the story. I want to revisit everything, because I know, like, even when I'm editing the videos, I find so many clues and foreshadowing and like hidden stuff that's been happening from the beginning. Like, I didn't know. I was rewatching the prologue scene once, and I saw Verso. He was on the beach, and he's the one who got Maelle out of there. And Gustav actually saw him too. So like, that makes you wonder, like, if Gustav ever met Verso in real life, would he have known? Would he have known that this was the guy that took Maelle out of the beach? Like, it's so many questions, right? And I want to revisit, where else can we find him, right? What other aspects of dialogue and foreshadowing and like side characters and NPCs and stuff are gonna be revealing to us how the truth has been in front of us the whole time. I want to see all of that. And okay, moving on to like the story, right? The writing in this is brilliant. It's pure genius, because there's no exposition dump at all. There are some parts definitely that have longer cutscenes and longer dialogue scenes and stuff, but like, it doesn't bore you. It doesn't make you feel like, okay, move it along, guys, or whatever. Like, it keeps you engaged because the dialogue is so damn good. And the two writers of this, right? Like, God, you guys have done such a brilliant job with the writing. The dialogue doesn't feel cheesy at all. And like, in times where even the characters themselves acknowledge that it's quite cheesy, it's not. It just feels so natural and it feels so good. And that's how conversations are in real life. Sometimes you do get a bit cheesy, right? And it just fits in so well because of the delivery as well. The voice actors have done such a good job of like, you know, talking over each other, and like with with Gustav, the way he can't finish his sentences and stuff, that's such a real thing. Like, I mean, I talk like that. You guys have been seeing how I'm putting my thoughts together, and I'm like taking pauses and I'm repeating myself, and this is how real people talk, and it feels so natural. With all the other characters too, with like Lune and Maelle and Verso, like you can feel the emotion. Renoir, of course. I mean, Andy Serkis is a professional. Like, it's so good. It's just, I don't have enough high praise for these people, man. They've done such a good job with the writing, and I love that there's no exposition dumps. Like, what the game does really well is the show don't tell thing, right? So you just don't have like NPCs or the main characters just like talking and telling us or giving us information as if, you know, we're dumb and we can't figure it out for ourselves and we just need someone to spell it out for us or something like that, right? The game is so clever at giving us just enough information to keep us guessing. Like, we keep learning new information as we go, but it never gives away too much. It just gives us enough to keep us hooked and keep us guessing. And like with the predictions that I made, right? Some of them were very wrong, of course. Some of them were on the nose, and yet every single end of the act, there's just twist after twist after twist, and the game is so well done that you can never actually guess what the outcome is gonna be. Like, I didn't know so much. I didn't know Gustav was gonna die at the end of Act 1. I didn't know the whole twist with this whole thing being a canvas. Like, all the characters that we've been following all along, they were not real. They were creations of Verso and the others. Like, these are unexpected things. And the ending, like making us choose, like, that was genius, honestly, because there's no way that by deciding for us could they have given us an ending that we would have been satisfied with, right? So the best course of action then is to let us choose for ourselves. Let us choose what we want to do and get the best outcome for us. There's no audience surrogate as well, right? Because like, and for those of you who maybe don't know what that is, so like when you have let's say Harry Potter, for example, right? So Harry is a audience surrogate because he is someone who goes into the wizarding world without knowing anything about it, and everyone around him does. So they are the ones who are like guiding him along and teaching him about, you know, how wizard money works and how the wizarding world works, and like he goes to school and he learns all these things about the wizarding world that we as an audience also don't know, and we learn about this new world along with him, right, in his shoes. But with this game, the brilliant thing is that these are people who've lived for 32 years. Even Maelle, she's lived for 16 years. They know this world inside out. They know about this canvas. They know that, you know, the Gamage is something that's been happening for so long. And there's no point in this game where the characters sit down and talk to each other as if one of them might not know this information. All the conversations always sound like everyone's in on it, right? Everyone knows what's going on. At least until Verso comes in the picture. And then it turns out that Verso is the person that knows the most about this canvas, right? He's the one who knows the most about Renoir and the family story, and that Maelle is truly Alicia and things like that. But like, the game still doesn't make us feel dumb at all. Like, we still know clearly that Verso is still hiding a lot of stuff, and we are learning with some of the characters as we go, but we're learning through their conversations in this lived world, right? An example I have of this is actually one that I remember. Gustav was having a conversation with CL, right? And CL was saying, "Thank you for getting me," or something like that. And Gustav's line was, "I would never abandon a member of Aqua Farm Tree," right? So, and then they go on to talk about Aqua Farm Tree, which was like a project they did to feed people in Lumiere. And the way that whole conversation goes, it's not like they're explaining to each other what Aqua Farm Tree was. And it's not like weird or cringy in any way. It feels so natural because they both know what they're talking about. And it's up to us as the players to pick up on the context clues and figure out what it is that they're talking about and what history these characters have together. And that's how it's been throughout this whole game, with all the conversations, with all the relationships between Verso and SK, or Verso and Monoko, and all these expeditioners who are traveling together, right? They all know each other really well already. So there's no reason why they would talk to each other in a way that makes it seem like any one of them know more than the other. And that's just genius. That's just pure genius writing when it comes to the dialogue, honestly. there aren't many media that can pull this off well. Not many TV shows, not many movies, much less video games. I played so many video games that do a terrible job at this, right? Or even just like a decent job at this. But this game is truly outstanding in that area. Or even, okay, another dialogue that I can think of is when Gustav is trying to tell Ciel where he ended up after the attack on the beach, right? I love the scene because they build it up in a way like he's gonna have this dramatic retelling, and like the music, his theme starts playing in the background, and he just starts saying, you know, I woke up by a waterfall, and then Lune just cuts in and she's like, hey, let's recap this back at camp, right? And it becomes a comedic moment, but that's genius writing on its own too, because yes, of course, Ciel doesn't know, but we as the players who've been going along with these characters, we don't need him to do the whole retelling. We know exactly what happened because we've been following Gustav from the beginning. Even though it's played off as a comedic moment, that's actually another great example of genius writing. Like, you don't have to retell stuff that we already know. You don't have to spoon feed the players with narrative information like that. And again, I can't think of another word besides it's just pure genius, right? Honestly, like the mocap actors even, it's so good. And there were parts where the voice acting maybe did not match the lip syncing for the mocap actors, and while it does happen quite a bit, but it's not too bad that it took me out of the game or anything, because I'm so invested in the scene and the things that they're actually saying, right? Especially in the more emotional scenes, they were well in sync, so it doesn't really take you out of the game too much, and I never at any point found that to be something that I was unhappy about. Also, considering the way that this game was done, right, with mocap actors and the voice actors being separate, and them just being in a dubbing booth doing ADR basically for these characters, and then them having done this game in like 5 or 6 years with the amount of work that's gone into it and stuff, I can forgive them for that. Like, these minor details and small things that maybe are little imperfections, I think just adds to the beauty of the game, just like a painting would, right? Like any work of art that you do, what makes it beautiful, what makes it special is its little imperfections. And I think that speaks for this game as well, because like understanding the budgets or the time constraints, and this being their first game and stuff, there's definitely room for improvement with future games that they do. But this on its own is already such a close to perfect work of art. I would give it 5 out of 5, man. I don't want to knock any points off of it for any of the reasons that I said, like improvements and stuff. Like, all that is forgivable and forgettable because of how much the game makes up for it in so many other ways. And especially the story, that's my favorite part of the story. I can talk for hours about the visuals and the locations and the soundtrack and world design, and I've already spoken about this a lot throughout the game, but like the story is what really drew me to this, and that's the best part of it. I am someone who, I don't care about the medium. I love movies, I love TV shows, I love reading, I love comic books, I love anything that tells a good story, right? And different mediums definitely have different strengths and weaknesses to when it comes to storytelling, but the thing that always draws me to these media is a good story, strong dialogue, and great character building and character study, right? And this game hit all of those things for me. So honestly, I have no complaints. I have to give it a full score. Okay, a bit about the gameplay. So this was something I had some trepidation about. I've never played much RPGs, much less a turn-based one, right? So I wasn't sure how much I would enjoy it, or if the learning curve might be a bit too steep for me. And I think I can definitely say that Expedition 33 is not an entirely beginner-friendly game, right? So if like someone is playing video games for the first time, unless there's someone who can pick up video games really quickly, or they can pick up gameplay really quickly, right? This may not be the first game that I would recommend to them, because the turn-based stuff definitely, with like things like the dodging and the parrying, it definitely does have a pretty good learning curve to it. But the fun of it is that also you can just go and practice over and over and over again until you get the hang of it. And with like how much you can go off on side quests and how much you can get, new Pictos and Lumina and stuff that's just gonna keep powering you up, to the point that the story beats, the bosses that you're going to meet in the main story become so much easier. Like you guys saw at the end game, right? During the battle with Renoir and even Verso, I one-shot Verso. Like, that's the very last fight of the game, and I was able to one-shot him as Maelle. Like, if I just stuck with the main game and I just gone through like all the narrative beats all the way up till the end without doing any of the side quests or without going and fighting those additional Nevron and getting those skills and XP and level ups, right? I would have maybe struggled. It would have maybe taken me multiple turns to try to beat the bosses and finish the game. But because I took the time to go and do these side quests and stuff, it makes the main game so much more easier. And the thing is, you would think that that would make the game boring, right? But the thing is, it's still good because of how good the gameplay is and how satisfying the fighting and the parrying and the dodging and like even the animations and the sound design for the fights. I have fallen in love with the parry sound effect, right? Every single time I nail a parry and that sound effect comes on, it's so satisfying. It's like it like triggers something in my brain that just gives me a dopamine hit or something when I get a parry right. And that's so cool that they were able to do that with the mechanics. And even with the fights that I lost, I don't feel frustrated with myself even. Now, I am someone who can get quite frustrated with myself if I don't get the hang of things, right? Especially like because now I'm doing it on video, I don't want to keep losing and end up being a really boring video for you guys to watch. But with this game, even though I lose, I don't feel upset or frustrated with myself or even with the game. I don't feel annoyed that the game is too difficult or anything like that. I just know that, hey, it's alright. I can go off, I can go practice or get more skills or Lumiere or something, and then I could come back and fight and it's going to be so much easier, right? And that's what happened with like the noirs and some of the chromatics and even some of the petanque. There was one petanque in the Frozen Heart section that I actually fought twice and I failed, and I decided, okay, I'm going to come back later on, right? But just before heading back to Lumiere, I went and fought that petanque. I took him down in 3 shots. So the game has a lot of room for you to like improve and like power yourself up and make better builds and stuff, and then just come and fight. And except maybe Simon, right? He's obviously supposed to be like the ultimate challenge for those who really love doing builds and stuff like that. So with him being the exception, like every other section, every other Nevron, every other boss battle, it's all been so rewarding and satisfying. And then like gameplay aside, the traversal in this game is so good as well. I struggled with some of the platforming sections. That this was one area that it was quite frustrating, especially when I couldn't make certain jumps, or they do a roll when they land on lower ground, right? So when they jump, sometimes what happens is they roll off the edge, or especially evident in like Renoir's drafts, there was one really tiny platform that I had to jump onto, and my characters just kept rolling over and falling off, and I had to do that section over and over again. So I think that was the only like frustration that I felt with the game. But even then, like, it wasn't impossible, right? Once you figure out like which sections you're supposed to jump, which ones you just run and maybe grab the edge, or which ones, despite them rolling over, I have to like pull them back so they don't fall over the edge, right? Things like that. There are ways to sort of figure it out, and nowhere does it become like impossible to solve. I never felt like, okay, I can't solve this, I need to like go away and come back, which has happened with some other games. Sometimes I do get so frustrated that I feel like, you know what, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna maybe try this again tomorrow. But that never happened with this game. I wanted to keep playing. It was so difficult for me to put the controller down, and I'm doing 2-hour episodes here, but most of these sections ended up being like 5-hour, 6-hour recordings because I'm playing well into the night, even though I have work the next day. And like, that just shows how good the game is, that I don't want to stop playing. And I'm thinking about the game day and night, even at work, at home, like whenever I'm doing something else, I'm just like itching to get back to the game. It's just so good. I have no complaints. And with like the grappling animations and even the rope animations and stuff like that, that's all so cool. Every single time I watch that, I'm just so amazed by that traversal system. And with SKA, I love all the different ways that you can travel with SKA as well. Like when you're riding him, you get to walk and run, and then when you're swimming, you can speed him up. When you're flying, you can speed him up. All of that was really cool, and being able to unlock each of these traversal methods one by one really keeps the game fresh until the end. And honestly, kudos for that, because that is genius game design. I tried not to interrupt them as much as I could in the beginning, but as the game went on, like, I just found that every single dialogue, every single conversation that the characters were having was just so moving, and there's so much depth to it, and it's so thought-provoking as well, right? So I just had to like ponder them and think about them, and like not just think about them in the context of the game, but think about them in the context of grief itself, right? Because this is such a beautiful game to talk about grief and loss and acceptance and moving on, and like that's what all these characters are going through. Each of them are reacting to grief in such different ways, and this is like the perfect study of that, honestly, because with Aline and Alicia, right, or Maelle, both of them are holding on to this canvas. They're holding on to the remnants of whatever's left of Verso. And for Renoir, he wants to move on. He can see what the grief is doing to his family, and he misses Verso too, but he wants to move on. He wants to go back to the real world. With Claire, I think focusing on the war is her coping mechanism. She's just like powering through because her family is so broken that, in a way, being the eldest too, she has to be the one to hold it together and focus on the issues in the real world. And in a way, staying strong for the family and focusing on something else, that's her coping mechanism. She doesn't give herself time to grieve, I think, by just throwing herself into this war. And all of the side characters as well, the way that they are coping and they are grieving, and you know, with the expeditioners, some of them are just powering through and focusing on the mission, and some of them, you do find some journals that shows that, you know, they're rethinking their decision to go out, and should they turn back, should they have spent their last years in Lumiere with their loved ones, or you know, should they just give up and maybe spend time on a gestural beach and just have fun and live out their life until the gommage, right? And seeing the death of their expeditioners around them, maybe even being the last one left alive. And like, that's a lot. And I've talked so many times about the soundtrack, right, from the beginning of this game, because that was another thing that really pulled me into this game and wanted me to start playing. So I went straight to Spotify and I looked up the album, I saved it, I listened to it for months leading up to the release of the game, right? Honestly, that's all I listened to. I even created my own playlist with some of my favorites, and it's so good. And it's impossible for me to choose one that's my favorite because I have two. One is Gustav's theme and one is Verso's theme. They're both equally good, and it's like, if you ask me to choose which is my favorite character between Gustav and Verso, I wouldn't be able to choose one either, because they're both such good and so deeply layered characters as well. And I think that applies to their themes as well, because they're both such beautiful themes. And with a lot of the slower or the character themes in the story, there's so much melancholy that you can feel. They all have such a tinge of sadness to them, whether it's, I don't know, it's the way the leitmotif is made, or with the chords, or with the instruments that they decided to use, but they're all so beautifully made. Gustav's theme and Verso's themes are two that I've had on repeat so much. And another theme that I have to shout out for sure is the Lost Voice one, right? It's so beautiful the way that they used that score in the game, is because they used it during the gommage in the beginning, and then they used it at Gustav's funeral, and finally when Maelle unpaints Alicia and gommages her from the canvas, right? You hear a bit of the theme appear in that section as well. And basically Lost Voices becomes a representation of the lives that are lost. And I think Lost Voice is such a good title for it too, because all this death that we're experiencing throughout the game, that's what it is. A lot of these characters are dying at a very young age. Verso died before his life was complete, and all these characters that are getting gommaged, they're unfulfilled potential and incomplete. They're just cut off in the middle, and describing these as lost voices is such a great way to capture their stories and their lives, essentially. And I've talked about this during Gustav's funeral scene as well, but that's amazing. Speaking of cutting things off in the middle, Gustav's death, the way that scene was done, the music tells his story as well, right? And the way that his theme is playing in the background, and the moment that Renoir stabs him, the way that the music just the way that the music cut off, like they could have just had the music continue playing in the background, or they could have, let that section of the song come to an end before it ends. But like, no, they just cut it off halfway, and it's like they never completed the notes, and it's just, that's such beautiful musical storytelling, man. And it just goes dead silent after that until Maelle scream. Like, oh my god, man, what a way to really make that moment hit us hard. His life got cut off halfway. We're not even halfway through the expedition yet, and he's just gone. It's so well done. And with like the relationships that these characters have as well, like you really believe, even though these voice actors maybe have never met each other before, they've all been in separate booths just doing voice recording work. Charlie Cox has never met Jennifer English, but when you see the way Gustav and Maelle interact with each other, you truly believe that they are siblings and they have such good chemistry, and the way they tease each other, and it's so good, it's so natural. And then when you see with his, like, Gustav's interactions with Lune and with CL, like, again, I bet none of these actors met each other, even with Andy Serkis, right? But the way that they've done such a good job with the voice acting really sells you on that chemistry. And I'm going to take a moment to talk about Gustav, right? Because he's such an interesting and refreshing lead character. And okay, maybe lead character is not the right word to say, because obviously, like, Maelle is the lead character. She's the main character, and I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of how the game wanted us to think in Act 1, right? And when you start out Act 1 in Gustav's shoes, with most media, they do try to make the heroes, especially with new movies and new shows or new media that comes out these days, they try to make more flawed characters to make them more relatable and likable, right? But for the most part, a lot of these main hero characters, they still come across as very Gryffindorish. And these are characters that they know they have to get shit done. Like, whatever happens, they can put their own shit aside, they can put their own feelings aside, and they can go avenge whoever they want to. Or even, let's just take another Charlie Cox character with Daredevil, right? He's also a very flawed, very deeply emotional character. But even though Daredevil is known as like the man without fear, the beauty of the character is that he is not fearless. He does what he has to do despite his fear, and he has fear, but he faces that and gets shit done anyway, right? So that's how most of these hero characters operate in popular media. But when you look at a character like Gustav, right? Like, grief is something a lot of other characters feel as well, but he felt so much fear. And with that scene on the beach, and immediately after that when he wakes up by the waterfall, right? You don't often find characters, especially heroic characters, who are faced with a fight, flight, freeze moment, and their reaction is to freeze. That's what he did on the beach. The moment the ambush happened and Renoir and then everyone started attacking and stuff, all these other characters are running, they're putting up a fight, and even though he saw Maelle hurt and someone else was like rescuing her or whatever, even though he saw his friends get killed, even though his own friend Lucien, he tried to snap him out of it and get him to get into action, right? But he was just frozen in fear. I don't think I've seen too many main characters have panic attacks. Like when he's thumping his chest and you can hear his heartbeat when he wakes up by the waterfall, right? The fact that you have a character here having a panic attack in the situation, which is so realistic, because I imagine that would be one of those common reactions you'll be seeing in a situation like that. If you drop any of us into a war zone, even though your brain might be telling you, this is what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to go and get Maelle out of here or whatever, but like, can you actually make yourself move? And just a quick side story, but like another character in popular media that I really love is Newt Scamander from Fantastic Beasts, right? And I love this character because Newt is another lead character that is not a typical hero, because he is much more gentle, and I've seen a lot of articles and a lot of interviews sort of describe him as almost autistic in a sense, with the way his behaviors come across, right? And that's so Hufflepuff of him. Is not at all the typical Gryffindor character that we see in most media, and that actually became like a point that a lot of people were not satisfied with the Fantastic Beasts movies, because they felt like they just couldn't click with Newt's character because of how soft-spoken and how gentle he was, and how he was unable to socialize with other characters and things like that. But I loved it. In fact, I think I can even argue for the case that I might love Newt Scamander's character much more than I ever did Harry. And that's saying something. But I can also understand why a lot of people couldn't connect with that, because they're not used to seeing hero characters like that in popular media. So when I see a character like Gustav, who is so different and not at all the typical hero, he gets shy, he stumbles on his words, and that scene with Lune, right? Like that scene that so many people have reposted online, and the conversation where you have someone like Lune who's so mission focused and she just wants to power through and go on because she's holding on to the oath of like, when one falls we continue and stuff like that, right? It's all powerful moving stuff. But then you also have Gustav on the other hand, who's so focused on being the guardian, protecting Maelle and wanting to get her out of the situation, because 32 years of his life may have prepared him for so much, but you can never prepare for what's really out there. The real world was never what they expected. And with Maelle being 16, sure, she's very capable. She's more than capable. And I bet that's the reason why Gustav would even allow her to come on the expedition, right? At that age. The moment that he realized that they're in way over their heads with how unexpected the real world is, and like with Renoir and all these like really crazy superpowered Nevron, the protective instinct in him just kicked in and he had to bring her back to safety. And that's such, again, a normal reaction. And it's so well done. And I kind of want to defend Gustav for a moment too, because like I did see quite a few people posting stuff and like sharing comments, and even there was an article I think that said something along the lines of like Lune was right, that he does have a cowardice tendency, and he probably did not have the strength to make it through the end because he wasn't brave enough or something along those lines, right? And I think that is a gross underrepresentation of what he's actually going through, even when he was like trying to take his own life and stuff like that, because he wasn't doing that out of cowardice alone. There's a lot of layers in his actions there, and his decision then to try to shoot himself is not just because he was afraid to continue, it's also because of hopelessness. Because if you're the only person left alive and you have a mission, but like an entire expedition of people died and they couldn't make it through just one location, right? What chances did he have to carry on? And even if he did, like he's probably doomed if he did go on his own. The only reason Expedition 33 survives is because they had a team, and they had later on Verso, and they had Monoko, who had more experience in the real world and they knew what they were doing and could help out the rest of the team, right? And it's not just hopelessness alone, but also guilt, because he froze on that beach. He could have helped Lucian, he could have helped all of his friends who were in need, he could have helped Maelle, but in that moment, the fact that he didn't die with the rest of them, that's survivor's guilt. That's a real thing that people would face in the real world as well. And it's not just cowardice that's making him make these decisions, but it's the guilt that he could have rescued more people, but he's realizing now that everyone probably is dead and he's the only one left alive because he didn't try to help. And maybe more people could have made it out alive if he had done something and he hadn't just been shell-shocked like that. And I think people also overlook the fact that with any character in any media, right, you don't see where the character starts, you see where the character ends. And even though like Gustav has always been mission focused as well since the moment they left Lumiere. His whole life he's been training for this, and he believed in the mission of the future, and his entire thing, like he keeps saying throughout all the fights and he always keeps saying that what they're doing is for those who come after. He knows they're going into a death mission. He knows that probably a lot of them are not going to make it out alive. But he had a lapse on that beach for just one moment when the weight of reality just came crashing on him, and that made him panic, that made him be afraid. And in that conversation with Lune, he is still talking out of fear in a way, right? And his need to protect Maelle. But later in the game, he learns and he grows from that. As time goes on, he starts to get his confidence, he starts to get on all these like leadership qualities out of necessity, right? He's not the commander of this expedition, but he becomes the de facto leader because he has to. And he is highly capable to be the leader of this expedition. And he proves it. And even at the very end, when Maelle asks him to run just like he promised, he thought about the mission. He considered the mission again, and he knew that after being shot, he's not going to make it out alive. He's not going to survive this. And the last thing that he can do, his very last act of heroism, is going to be to give Maelle a chance to run, to give her a chance to live and to escape and continue with the expedition if they can. That is where his arc ends, and it's honestly perfect. He's such a gentle and kind character. Like when he apologizes to the Gestrel who's guarding SKA's nest for yelling at him and things like that, the way he's so gentle with how he deals with Maelle, like after she had the vision of Renoir and everyone, and Lune kept pushing her to share what she witnessed while things were still fresh, right? But he was so gentle with her about it. And these are qualities that you don't really find a lot with main hero characters, and that is so refreshing to see. Maelle said it perfectly at one point just before we went up against the duelist. She was talking about, so I can't remember exactly the quote, but like she was saying how every time she feels better or she's getting past the grief, it just comes back in waves, right? And that so beautifully captures how grief works in real life as well, because people say time heals all wounds, but the reality about grief is that you think you're getting better, you're doing fine, you move on, you go on with your life, but then something suddenly might remind you of the person that you lost, and all of a sudden you're back to square one. You're suddenly grieving them again, and you're suddenly broken again. And it's so realistic the way that they portray the grief here. And the great thing is that they remind us of that grief too with Gustav, because they know how much we've connected with Gustav, and all these characters are grieving as well, right? So every single time that any of the characters mention Gustav, or we see something that reminds us of him, or you get like Maelle's gradient attack, which is Gustav's homage, or we find a record that relates to Gustav, all of these locations and interactions, and even the Gestrels, the NPCs, whenever they ask about Gustav, it keeps us as players having to go through waves of grief coming over and over and over again until the very end. And it's so beautiful how the game immerses you in that way, because you are grieving alongside these characters for this one character that you fall in love with as well. And I think one thing that I love about the Gestrels, right, is that even though these are characters that they also grieve with each death that happens, like the way that Monoko is grieving Noko's death, right? But also, you might think that, hey, Gestrels can always reincarnate, you can just bring them back, but they're not their old selves. They're reborn, they still are in a way in the same body, but they're not themselves. They forget stuff, they lose a lot of the memories, they forget who the people around them are, and it's still painful. Every time a Gestrel were to die, those around them who were their guardians or they cared for them, they would still feel that death, because even though you can bring them back, it just won't be the same. And I think that's such a perfect mirroring of what Aline was trying to achieve with the Painted family, right? With the Desandra family, even though she painted Verso and Renoir and Clea maybe the way that she imagines them, or like the best version that she sees them, right? It's not gonna be able to capture their essence 100% like in real life. And I mean, we can see how with Alicia, at least, she was obviously taking out her anger, and she blames Alicia for Verso's death, and maybe she can't show that anger in the real world, so she does that in the canvas. by painting her with the scars and making her suffer like that, and as like a form of punishment. And that's a very difficult thing to accept as well. Like, how could a parent do that to their own child just because they lost another, right? But the sad thing is, it does happen in real life sometimes, and that's how people grieve. They just need someone to blame and point finger to, and somehow that helps them to process that grief and that loss. But with the way that she tries to cope, there's no way that she could ever have captured him 100% as the way that he was in real life. And okay, it's like that. I think I have a great analogy for that. So like a painting that you just created that's perfect, right? You've just created a canvas or a painting that you've poured your heart and soul into, and it's your life's work, and it's the best piece of work that you've ever created, right? Flaws and all, this is just pure perfection. And then someone asks you to recreate it, maybe because they just want a copy, or the original got destroyed or something like that. You would never be able to recreate another painting that's exactly like the original or as good as it. You're always going to have certain differences, some different flaws. Even if it's better than the original, the flaws of the original are what made it good, are what made it beautiful, right? And you're going to miss out like certain tiny details, or this recreation or this copy that you're making is just going to be from your memory. It's not going to have your heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears in it anymore. And that's always going to make it different. It's going to be an imitation of the original thing. And with the characters in this game as well, even if you try to bring them back to recreate a version of themselves that is going to help you carry through your grief, it's never going to be as good as the original person. You're never going to be able to capture their essence and their consciousness, and it's always just going to be an imitation or a version of themselves based on your own memory, or a version of themselves that you want it to be. And how beautifully deep is that? This game is just so beautiful and thought-provoking and so philosophical. Like, I've played games before that study a lot about relationships and even grief and things like that, with like The Last of Us and stuff, right? And a lot of games on like human emotion and stuff, but I don't think I've ever played one that's been so deeply philosophical as this one has. And it's honestly like, I have nothing to say but kudos to the whole team. You've done a masterpiece, honestly. I loaded up my last save just to try to get the other ending as well and see how that turns out, and maybe get my reaction to it. What happens if we fight as Verso?
Break!
Verso, stop! You can't just decide this for everyone!
We're all hypocrites, doing the same thing to each other.
I think I may have skipped some of the dialogue here by one-shotting Verso. She's the one to Gamache.
Don't do this. Don't leave me again.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, huh? You've got this incredible power to paint. You'll never have to suffer a life you don't want. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay.
You have to say goodbye.
I will miss you
Oh.
guys.
What are you doing?
It's okay. It's over. Verso.
A life to love. It's a different epilogue.
Miroir du temps, nos histoires s'alignent. Dans le creux de nos mains, deux mondes se dessinent. L'un peint de rêve, où le chagrin s'efface. L'autre nu et réel, où notre deuil prend place. Au lendemain non écrit, sous les étoiles, où tout commence, rien ne finit. Dans le dessin, toile vierge, horizon lointain, peignons ensemble les couleurs de demain, au clair obscur. Œuvres infinies, chaque pas.
33 December.
Trace la route d'une vie.
Why 33?
Au lendemain non écrit, sous les étoiles où tout commence, rien ne finit. Dans les trains du destin, les liens restent éternels dans le dessin.
Oh. Hey, and Maelle. Oh, jeez. I mean, sure, that's the better ending for their family, but then everyone in the canvas is gone. Regardless of the decision, there's always lives to be lost. Oh, damn. I mean, the way that it's been done, this obviously seems like the better choice. the more positive ending, or the right thing to do, or whatever you want to call it, but it still hurts. Still so bittersweet. Especially you played the entire game falling in love with those characters, and then at the end they just get wiped off and like cease to exist. Oh shit. Damn, man. It's so good. It's so painfully good. You know what I noticed? The way that Maelle was standing there and they all gamaged. It's just like a shot from the prologue. When Maelle is standing with a couple of kids and everyone gamages around them as well, and it's like it's like an exact frame to frame shot. But they knew what they were doing with this. It's so good. This ending is way more. This ending is making me way more emotional than the other one did. I think. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I wanted to see what the other ending was. I thought you guys might be interested to see my reaction, so here you go, I guess. Like, I'm I'm devastated. So yeah, that's it. Both endings really hurt. You know, the irony when it comes to this family is that throughout the game, when you're playing as these characters and these expeditioners, you keep saying things like, you know, for those who come after, and tomorrow comes, and when one falls, we continue, and all of that. But this is very clearly an ideology that only the expeditioners seem to have, and not the family themselves, because they have not been practicing that. Aline and Alicia are both holding onto the canvas in the hopes of avoiding tomorrow. And when one falls, in this case Verso, the family is refusing to move forward. Like, Clair is clearly the only one who's still back in the real world. Renoir wants to bring his family out of this, but Alicia and Aline are both drowning in their own grief by holding on to this version of Verso that they just don't want to let go of, and they don't want to move on with life. They're stuck in that rut. And after seeing that second ending, I think there's a clear winner here with which ending the developers would prefer us to choose. Because, like, the little boy, little Verso, when Painted Verso asked him if he wanted to stop painting, he nodded, because this little boy is what's left of the real Verso. That's his real soul, right? And in a way, I think his answer signals to us that this is what Verso would have wanted to, and he would want to move on, he would want to let go, he would want to rest. If he knew his family was reacting in this way, he would want them to move on as well. And I think he does, because he kind of proved it in the Yellow Harvest section. We met the boy there, and he had a question for the paintress, right? He wanted to know why she was doing this. And when we met like a version of her and we asked her this, she said, I did it for him. And when we went back to the boy and told him this, he was upset. He said he never wanted this to happen. He never wanted her to react that way. And I think that is the truth of how the real Verso would have reacted as well to what the family is going through. He wouldn't want them to be stuck in grief like this and suffer in this way. He would want them to move on as well. And, you know, it makes sense to save as many lives as possible. And I kind of had the hope that with this ending, like, Maelle would maybe keep her word and leave the painting after she restored everyone anyway, but that obviously didn't happen. And with Verso's ending, like, as sad as it is that the entire canvas is gone and, like, everyone's gone at the end, at least with, like, Verso and his friends, they got to say goodbye, because SK and Monoko knew this was coming. They knew this entire time that helping out Verso, this was the only outcome. And CL, I guess, was a bit more empathetic towards him, because she knew how he was suffering as well, and she knew what grief could do to you, and, like, whatever the decision was at the end of the day, she could sort of accept that this was for the best outcome at the time. And Lune, like, the way she, like, stubbornly sat down, that's so in character for her as well, because she feels betrayed again, right? Like, Verso's been hiding truths or lying the entire time, and, like, the whole decision that he made to kick Alicia out of the canvas and basically deciding the fate of the entire canvas. Of course, she'll have trouble accepting that, but then what are you gonna do about it, right? Everyone else is just gone just like that. And I don't know, when I first saw it, I was feeling a bit bittersweet, and I thought maybe my ending might have been the better option, but I think thinking about it now, that's worse, because the thing with Maelle staying behind is the problem, because obviously there's a time jump and they're all much older now, and she's been living there for so long that she's starting to get sick, right? We can see that in her eyes, and that, like, that jump cut to her face with the piano key smash it's like a horror movie, right? Because again, this is the writers telling us that this is not the ultimate outcome. We've doomed not only Maelle to drown in her grief like this and maybe even die one day. But if you really think about it, like if she stays there with her creations, like the dynamic that they'll have, she has painter powers, right? She's essentially a god living amongst her creations as a coping mechanism. And that one look that Verso kind of gave her at the end, it kind of summarizes everything, I think. And like there's so much emotion going through his face. I think at the end there, he really did Gommage, but I think Maelle may have repainted him, and that on its own is a bad thing, because she could not let him go. She just could not let him rest. She brought him back, and maybe in a way letting him age is her way of offering him peace and giving him an exit from his immortal life. I don't know if that's what he wanted. He doesn't seem too happy to be doing a performance there, and there's so much conflicting emotion on his face. It's almost as if he's being forced to perform on stage for her, which makes you question, like, what about all the other characters? Are they gonna live their lives the way they want to now, the way they would have if Maelle never found out she was a paintress? Or does she now play a part in controlling their lives? Can she determine the outcomes of all of these characters, even if they apparently have their own freedoms, right? And what if they do grow old and eventually it comes time for them to die? Would Maelle be able to let them go then? Or is she still gonna hold on to them? Is she still gonna keep on living in this endless cycle? Is she just gonna keep repainting the canvas over and over again indefinitely? Like, it raises a lot of questions, and I think when you really think about it, it seems like the better outcome is Verso's option and siding with Renoir. But at the same time, I mean, I think at the time, the decision that I made at least was considering the fact that, as Alicia said, like, she feels she doesn't have a life out there and she would be forced to deal with her disability and stuff. And on top of that, Aline very much was angry with her and was blaming her for what happened to Verso. And there wasn't a guarantee that if she were to go back to the real world, Aline would in any way forgive her. And I think we didn't really see that, right? At Verso's funeral, they all left flowers, and it seems like there's a sign, or there's a possibility that the family could reconcile. At least Aline did reconcile with Renoir, and this may be the chance for the family to finally grieve together and bond again and heal from this. But at the same time, we don't know if Aline actually came around to not forgiving Alicia, because I won't say it's her fault in any way. We don't really know the exact story of how the fire happened, but she's just a kid and she wasn't to be blamed at all for whatever might have happened to Verso and the way he died. Aline should never have blamed her or been angry at her or punished the painted version of her. Seeing what she did to painted Alicia, you kind of don't want Maelle to go back to that in the real world. And with Clair, I didn't like a lot of the way Clair was talking to Alicia as well, like talking to her like a kid and belittling her and putting her down and stuff like that. Like, if this was the family that she was to return to, like, I can see why she would want to stay with Verso and Gustav and the others. Like, the game did a really good job at making you feel so conflicted, and at the end of the day, once you do decide and you get your outcome, again, obviously one is better than the other, and logically you know that, I mean, all these people in the canvas are not real, they don't exist, and you shouldn't be holding on to them as a coping mechanism. But at the same time, like, in the context of the game, they have lives, they have families, they have futures, they have hopes and dreams and so much. And it's not fair. The whole thing is not fair. It's not fair that this entire world is being so affected and punished by the grief that this family is feeling. And it's not fair that we have to choose between sacrificing this entire world of people and creatures and all these living beings just for the happiness and for the health of this one family. And what's sad about the death of all the characters in the canvas is, I think what we see with Lune's reaction to is that they fought so hard for this. I mean, Lune especially, she's dedicated her whole life to the expedition. She didn't have the greatest relationship with her parents. She's been raised her whole life to think only about the expedition. They did everything that they were trained to do. She fought so hard to stay focused on the mission, and they won. They did it. They beat the paintress. They came back. They found out who the real baddie was, and they went after Renoir. And at the end of it, it all meant nothing. I mean, what would it feel like to be those characters and realize that, oh, we don't exist. We are all made up. We are, works of fiction, and we are just creations, and we're playthings for these gods and creators who are fighting amongst themselves because they can't deal with their own grief, right? If only after Verso's death, if they had left the canvas alone, like, this family should not have come running into the canvas to keep Verso's memories alive. They should have left it alone, and in that way, whatever life, all these lives that Verso has created, all this beauty and wonder and stuff, it would have been left to thrive. But because of the fracture, because of his death, and because his family just couldn't cope, you lose an entire world of living beings who get their agency just taken away, and they don't have a choice in whether they live or die. They just go with whatever their gods decide. Like, that's a really sad part of it. I think, yeah, with the choice that we were given, I guess I kind of made the wrong one by going with Maelle. But yeah, I guess learning to accept and let go and heal at the end of the day is the right thing to do in the real world, in our world. Like, if we were faced with this situation, and like, talking about how we cope with fiction or escapism and things like that, right? It's like, this is the way for the developers to sort of have us reflect on how we deal with our grief or our difficulties in life and stuff by using art and medium and stories as a coping mechanism. Because so much of fandom and how we interact with media, especially maybe some of us who are really into fictional characters and stories and things like that, right? We immerse ourselves in these art, in video games, in movies, in TV shows, and we imagine like living in these worlds with these characters, writing fan fiction, creating fan art, and spending so much time and pouring so much of our heart and soul into these fictional worlds and characters. But how much of that is good, healthy fascination and hobbies and escapism, and how much of it is a form of like addiction or even like a coping mechanism, right? How much are we depending on these forms of media to escape from real world, that we end up sacrificing our time and relationships and stuff we could be doing out there in the real world? And especially for those who maybe come to these mediums because of grief, right? Because they're escaping like really traumatic experiences in their real life or stuff, instead of like dealing with it head on. It really makes you think about that, about how you would approach grief. And I love the part that CL was talking about to Verso, about how she would have reacted, right? When Verso asked if she would have done the same as Aline, she says, knowing the impact that it has on Verso and Aline and everyone, she wouldn't. But had she been asked in the moment of grief, she would have given everything to have her husband back. So I guess that's a valid point too, because like, you never know what you do in that moment of grief. You never know what decisions you make, even though now with a clear head you might think like, okay, I'll be much more level-headed because I know what's right and wrong, and I know that this is what the deceased person would wish for me, and this is how I'm supposed to move on and live my life and stuff. But in that moment, you wouldn't know how you would react, how you would cope and accept, if you would ever be able to accept it, or if you'll be stuck in denial. I think that's what Aline needed as well, because once the canvas was actually destroyed, she seems to heal from that. She finally makes up with Renoir, and maybe her family can actually move on. And I don't know what it means with Claire walking away, like if she'll be able to let go of having to push ahead and let go of her coping mechanism of going ahead with the war and stuff. And I don't know about Alicia as well. Like, sure, this canvas is lost and all these characters are lost, but what's to say like if this family doesn't get proper therapy or grief counseling or something like that, what's to say that they won't just end up making another canvas and another painting and another version of Verso and just have the cycle keep going on forever and ever? Like, what's to say that Maelle or Alicia, she won't just go and repaint this entire canvas for Verso? I mean, the way that the epilogue is made by the developers, you want to think that this is the positive outcome, but again, there's so many layers to it, and you don't know what's happening behind the scenes, right? So you don't know that at the end of the day, if things are not handled well still, does it really help the family move on at all, or have we just destroyed the canvas and the family for good? So yeah, something to think about, I guess. Yeah, I think I can say for sure that the ending that I ended up choosing was probably not the better option, even though I just really wanted to bring everyone back. I just that was my reason. I wanted to save as many lives as I could, and the way to do that, it seemed, was to save the canvas. But God, they really make you question your decision hard with that jump cut ending, man. And like, you get an entire song and goodbyes and farewells with the Verso ending, but with her ending, like, you get Verso begging for death, and then you have everyone together, and it feels for a moment like it's happy, and then something feels off, and you see Verso look so uncomfortable with the situation, and then jump cutting to Maelle like that. It's haunting. Initially, it kind of gets you maybe a bit angry that they've just replaced Gustav's character, who you've grown to love so much, with Verso, who you don't know anything about. And you don't even know if you can trust him yet, right? But first of all, from a gameplay perspective, that's actually a genius thing to do. And second of all, with the relationships that you have to form, that's such a cool mechanic in this game. And it's perfect to make us get to know Verso better, right? Because you don't just get to know him through, again, exposition dumps or things like that. You get to know him through character building and relationship building. The way that he interacts with SKA and Monoko, again, it feels like true friendships. It feels like they've been together for years and years, for decades and centuries, in fact, right? And then the way that you have to build these relationships with Lune, Ciel, and Maelle. I mean, it's something that someone who's just powering through the game, who's just going through the story beats, they can easily skip, and that's fine as well. They can still make it through the game, albeit maybe with more difficulty without those gradient skills that they unlock, right? But if you did take the time to build those relationships, you get to connect with the characters so much more, and you get to learn so much more backstory with the fighting the Exons and doing these little side quests and stuff for them, right? And as more of that relationship is being built with each of these characters, you connect with each of them as well, because you learn more about their backstories, and you learn more about Verso, and because you're walking in his feet now, you naturally end up connecting with Verso. And that's why at the end, when he's that scene where Maelle is holding him and he's fading, right, and he's asking and he's begging for death, that scene is so emotional as well, because now you've grown to connect with Verso's character and fall in love with him as well, and you don't want him to die as well. Like, you're so torn between freeing him from this misery, but also wanting him to stay alive and maybe find his own happiness in the canvas. I mean, okay, if I were given the choice, right, I would have a third option. If I wrote the ending for this game, I would write a happier ending where Maelle restores everyone, she brings everyone back, she leaves, she convinces Renoir and her mother to leave the painting alone, and they could make it like an annual thing where, like, on the anniversary of Verso's death every year, as a family, they could just revisit and relive his memories and his essence that's in the canvas and things like that. And Maelle could, or Alicia could, revisit Gustav and the others as well in the canvas, right? She doesn't have to live with them the entire time permanently. And with the other characters in the real world, like, go for grief counseling, go for family therapy, go do something and get over that grief. Because even now, even what's to say if I had decided to go with Verso's decision and and destroy the canvas was to say that the family would not still be broken and they would have worked past the grief. They would have just lost that last part of Verso that they had left. I don't really think that's a happy ending either. That's a lot of lives to lose just for this one family to get over the grief. And I'm not satisfied with the ending, and that's the whole point. I don't think you are supposed to be satisfied with it. Like I said, I have nothing bad to say against the game or the story. The story is perfect as it is, and it's not meant to be a satisfying ending. Because you know that at the end of the day, regardless of what your decision is, there's always gonna be some form of loss. And there's no outcome is gonna be 100% good. And how bloody brilliant and realistic is that? Honestly, kudos to the whole team, man. Like Jennifer and Guillaume and the entire team at Sandfall Interactive who made this brilliant work of art. Like, it's amazing. I don't know how you guys managed to put together such a great story and like this entire game in just like 5 to 6 years with the size of the team that you had and the budget that you had it's amazing. And I can't wait to see where you go from here. I don't know if there's going to be like DLCs. I don't know if there's going to be sequels. I don't know if there's going to be anything else in this Clair Obscur world. Now, what I do have hopes for is maybe a few DLCs in this. I don't think this game needs a sequel. Like the way that it ended here with Expedition 33, it's perfect as it is. What I would love to have is maybe some DLCs. Maybe we could explore, as I mentioned before, Expedition 0 or Expedition 60 or some of the other expeditions that have really interesting stories, or even 84. I think that was the first expedition that left after years, and it would be so cool to see, to play a DLC where you don't have Lumina, because I think we've learned throughout the game that Lumina is something specifically invented by Gustav, and the Lumina converter is what allows us to have a ton of these pictures on ourselves, right? So it would be cool to maybe have a DLC before the Lumina was invented, where you're forced to choose only 3 pictures to bring you through the entire expedition. And this expedition could also bump into Verso, and we could learn how he has developed like controlled relationships with the previous expeditions as well, because arguably he's the closest with Expedition 33 because Maelle is on it, right? So that would be such a cool thing to see in the DLCs. And if ever like they do consider a sequel, I hope that they don't do one that's in the world of Expedition 33, that's not in this canvas. They could obviously do another Clair Obscur game that maybe takes place in a different world or a different universe, or maybe even a different canvas, right? So they were talking about how Renoir got lost in one of his canvases before, or even, you know, Alicia or Aline, like they're all painters who've created their own canvases as well, right? Maybe another game could explore a totally different story and a completely different world in those canvases, and it could still be called Clair Obscur. That's the only way that I can see this game going forward while preserving the legacy of this game. This does not need a sequel at all, and I hope if they ever do decide to create a sequel, it's because they genuinely have a good story that's worth telling. If and when they decide to make the movie adaptation, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see which ending they choose, because like I said, with this game, obviously there is one ending that's better than the other. They want you to go with Verso's ending because they want the family to heal. But I also wonder if they might tweak that. Like, I would love for them to do a third version where everyone comes out happy in the end. But I guess at the same time, I understand that it won't have the same impact as a sacrifice would have, right? So probably they might go with Verso's ending and have us sacrifice the canvas anyway. But yeah, I'm gonna make it headcanon that there's a third version where everything works out, everyone comes out happy, and then maybe a movie adaptation might try to do that too. I guess only time will tell. I don't know if you guys enjoyed watching me play this game as much as I did playing the actual game, but I really hope you did, and I hope you guys will stick around for more content. I hope you guys didn't mind how much I was like theorizing the whole time, or like just yapping and crying so much. I didn't expect to get this emotional on camera as well. And like, I mean, there were definitely moments where I was struggling to control myself and not just start bawling. This is the most emotional I've ever been playing any game, and I've played a lot of games that made me cry. Like, it's brilliant. Honestly, I don't have anything else to say. I think I've said all I have to, and I hope I've covered every aspect and I've given the game all the praise it deserves, because like, it's so good. Even something as simple as just writing in Gustav's journal, man. I mean, I'm so happy they included that part. Like, it's such a tiny thing. The game would have worked perfectly fine without it, but just having those moments where we can go off with Gustav to write in his journal, and then later on with Maelle, who continues the tradition. She wants to make sure that his apprentices get all these stories in his journal, right? That's so beautiful. And of course, you're rewarded for doing that consistently by getting a new skill for Maelle. But like, those small, intimate, and quiet moments just added so much to the game, and I love that. I loved it so much. I'm done. I don't have anything else to say. I think I've covered everything, and thank you guys. Thank you for supporting me by watching all the videos, by coming through this whole journey with me. And I know this is a very long review because I just had so much to share and so much to talk about, so many different elements that I wanted to praise and talk about. So if you sat through till the end of my review, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I'm definitely going to be doing a couple more bonus videos to complete Simon in Renoir's drafts, and also the Endless Tower. And then I'm going to dive right back in with New Game Plus, but I don't think I'll be recording that. So if you've been watching the entire series and watching and following everything that I've been posting, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys will stick around and subscribe for future content as well. I don't know. I haven't decided what game I'm going to be playing next, but whatever it is, I hope you guys will come back and keep watching and keep supporting me in that as well. So thank you so much, guys. Let's keep this going, and thanks again to Sandfall Interactive for such a beautiful game. And for the last time, tomorrow comes, and we continue for those who come after.